just a little bit of background on Cigent. We're an In-Q-Tel-backed company, which is one of the largest VCs in the world. They're essentially the investment arm of the U.S. government. And we've been working over the, last several years, prototyping various network security and data security solutions. Those prototypes led to a lot of interest. And that interest led to the launch of Cigent 3 years ago. So we have been shipping our data security and network security solutions now for 3 years. We just concluded a Series A round of funding where In-Q-Tel invested along with some other prominent VC firms and individuals, mostly based in Silicon Valley. So the general sort of approach that we take to cybersecurity is a little different than what you'll typically hear about. You know, there are folks out there really pushing protection, and obviously protection is really important. And there are myriads of solutions out there for antivirus, firewalls, email security, etc. But we have the philosophy that if you're only focused on protection and you're trying to automate that only, you're fighting a losing battle. You're going to lose. It's too hard. The attack surface is too large. You need a combination of automation and eyes on that automation to really fight off modern cybersecurity attacks, because let's face it, the bad guys are really talented, right? These people know exactly what they're doing, and up until today, we're losing the battle. So we like to put next-gen cyber security solutions in both at the network layer and the endpoint layer that will protect your data, even if your network or your endpoint is compromised. So traditionally, I'm going to focus on our network security solution today because just due to a lack of time, and traditionally, and I'm sure a lot of you already have these solutions in place, network traffic analysis has been a staple in a proper cybersecurity stack, right? So there are a lot of vendors out there that do this really well. This technology is usually applied to the corporate networks, and really what this is all about is doing deep packet inspection of inbound and outbound traffic, logging those packets, and looking for anomalies that will lead you to identify and block potential threats. And usually this solution is delivered through a combination of automation, but also if you're big enough and lucky enough to have your own SOC, security operations team, you have humans watching and looking at those alerts that are generated and responding accordingly. The great thing about network security is that it's the lowest common denominator, right? If you're looking at the exchange of data, you're looking at a layer that can't be bypassed by an adversary. Adversaries must sieve and send packets in order to launch an attack, right? You may have some infection or infiltration of your network. That's not going to create a ransomware attack. What's going to happen is that infiltration through command and control is going to beacon back out to some compromised infrastructure. It's going to be sold over the dark web to some other group that's going to get in there into your network and do reconnaissance on all of your critical infrastructure, your backups, your data, your financials, etc. They're going to steal credentials, and it's going to happen over a 4 to 6, 7 month period. They're going to dwell in your network, try to remain undetected, and that can, if they're successful, that's going to create a very bad day. So what we like to do, and this is consistent with other vendors, is we put what we call a cyber threat sensor in the network, and we're mostly concerned with egress communications. We're not too worried about blocking threats from the outside in. We think firewalls do a great job of that. We're not concerned with detecting malware or ransomware that may be running on your servers or your endpoints. There are lots of great solutions for that. We're looking for communications from any device in your network out to compromised infrastructure that looks suspicious. And what we do is, as soon as we detect it, we block it. We're also looking for east-west communications inside your network between different network segments, or we're looking for an insider that's trying to do something they're not really supposed to be doing, but by using deception technology. So really what we're all about is sort of identifying threats early on in the cyber kill chain and either blocking them or creating an alert that our SOC team could follow up on, get some eyes on the issue so that they can do proper remediation. Again, before this type of attack turns into something really serious. And we call our platform Cigent XDR, and includes a network detection and response platform, which I'm going to focus on. We also can import logs from any devices so that we can monitor your cloud infrastructure, your servers, your endpoints, any work from home employees, etc. We can triangulate those log files against the information and that we're getting from our network detection and response platform to investigate vulnerabilities, to identify threats, block them, etc. So it's a managed solution, and you've been seeing a lot of ads lately. Certain companies are trying to go public, and their marketing spin is that we automate all your cybersecurity. Let me tell you right now, it's our opinion that may be a good marketing angle, but taking human eyes off these types of systems, whether it be EDR or network security or other layers, is a mistake. You can't automate your way out of the protection racket, right? You've got to have a human element to this that can follow up on potential issues, and because these types of systems just generate way too many alerts for some sort of artificial intelligence algorithm to deal with all the time correctly. So let's talk about, that's sort of pre-COVID. A lot of companies have these solutions in place, like I said, and then COVID-19 happened, and what happened? Well, we had a race to support remote workers, but in doing so, the shift to remote work basically created a huge sort of gap in organizations' ability to monitor the security of their work from home employees. Why? Because at least at the network security layer, there's no way to monitor the remote workers' home network. So we all sort of, rushed to put VPNs in place, and we did a good job of that. But like some of the previous speakers said, a lot of work from home users don't even connect to the corporate network anymore, right? They're connecting into some cloud-based storage or some sort of thin client web service, virtual environment, or they're connecting via VPN into the corporate network. What did we do? We just expanded the attack surface exponentially, because your home network, which hosts this device that is connecting through VPN to your corporate network, is on the same network that all of these IoT services are hosting. So, for example, Amazon, love Amazon, but they've got a new service that they've announced called Amazon Sidewalk. I don't know if any of you have heard about this. This is a way to basically share Wi-Fi in your local neighborhood. You have Nest thermostats that can be easily sort of compromised by an experienced hacker. You have other people in your family who are, if you're anything like my family, they're up all night gaming with people that they meet online and who knows where, right? And they're using Chromebooks, or they're using other PCs or other devices to access all this infrastructure. And it's extremely difficult for a corporate security team to really lock down the security layer of the home network. And that's what Cigent is offering with the solution I'm going to tell you about. So, and what happens here is, if your home network is compromised, then the next step is your VPN is compromised, and that can lead to things like the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack, which we've all read about and heard about. It's very expensive, almost impossible for them to recover from. So we all know remote work is here to stay. Protecting and monitoring devices that have access to corporate resources is becoming an ever more challenging issue, and we can help. So how do we do it? First of all, we have a plug-and-play solution. We ship your employee a device, they plug it into their home network, and that automatically allows you to segment your work from home devices from your other devices, such as your TVs, your printers, your kids' laptops, etc. This can be just plugged into the router, and then you can connect your work from home devices via wired connection or over a secure Wi-Fi. It's very simple to set up. It literally takes about 10 minutes to plug this in. Once you set up, you now have a segmented network. In addition to that, what we do is we have a built-in threat sensor to this. We call it a cyber threat sensor to this device that inspects every data packet that goes in and out of that of that network, right? So we inspect it for and log every data packet at the metadata layer, and we apply multiple layers of network security to that packet data. So we're looking for things like threat intelligence. So we upload about 500,000 indicators of compromise to the threat sensor on an hourly basis. We keep that database refreshed hourly. And if any device on the home network tries to communicate with any compromised infrastructure, it's blocked. We've got a built-in IDPS engine. We monitor the network for signatures of ransomware, encrypted malware. We look for violations of IT policy. For example, let's say you have a remote worker that is using some sort of remote control solution like TeamViewer. That's a huge vulnerability, right? So we can detect and block employees' use of tools that you do not want to sanction in a work from home environment. We do deception. So let's say that somebody gets access to your employee's home network and they start looking around the network, trying to get onto the VPN. We set little honeypots so that we can detect, block them, and get them out of the network before they can do some real lasting damage. We generate a network behavior risk score. If that risk score goes up drastically, that'll generate an alert. Our SOC team will follow up and make remediation suggestions. And we do some advanced security analytics, which are really like mathematical algorithms. So look for the sort of the way that data and data packets are streaming in and out of the network, looking for anomalies in that, maybe beaconing out to some site on Tor or something else that indicate that something's amiss. So the key thing to keep in mind about this platform is that you don't need any additional staff. Your corporate security team doesn't need to be involved. It's a plug-and-play solution. And we do all the sensor uptime monitoring. We do the maintenance and patching. We push new features out to the cyber threat sensor. We aggregate the alerts. We have a experienced SOC team that will monitor, investigate, and respond to threats. We make remediation recommendations, and our response is based on a customer playbook. So really what we're doing is we're sort of, in a very inexpensive way, we're extending your network security out to your employees' work from home network, and giving you that same visibility that you currently enjoy on-prem. And that's my presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
Hey, Steve, I'm just checking the questions. Let me see. Well, just some confirmation where you've got Scott commenting that human eyes are really needed for adding context to data and making sure that AI doesn't run amok, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, we've got machine learning built into this platform. And so the machine learning is used to filter alerts, because these types of network detection and response platforms just generate literally, millions of alerts. So you have to have a way to take those alerts and turn them into actionable information. But at the end of the day, you can't rely on your MSP or your IT staff to interpret that. You need trained cybersecurity professionals that are full-time threat hunters. And that's what we add to this equation. We give you that sort of combination of automation and security operations that is necessary to really secure both the corporate network and your employees' home networks.
So Steve, and you could comment on this, we've got Lee, and let me just do a quick check here so I can just check Lee's contact information, who just asked his $10 question. Lee is with Kits and Partners. You're basically, his comment was, in listening to your talk, this is a VPN with both automation and human-based security in a sense.
Yeah, it's not a VPN, so we support your VPN. You can use your VPN. This is really a detection and response platform and an XDR platform that you can put on your employees' network to detect and respond to threats that you currently cannot manage through your corporate IT staff or your corporate security staff.
So to maybe paraphrase Lee's question, you're not replacing people's existing VPN. It's a complement and enhancement to the overall security.
That's correct, Ron. Yeah, your employees still have a VPN. They still have a firewall. They still have antivirus software or EDR. They can still access cloud storage or corporate infrastructure. But we're adding an additional layer of network security, which is so critical right now because of that slide I showed you, where you have so many IoT devices connected to the home network now, and you can't put antivirus software on an IoT device, right? You can put antivirus software and detect ransomware and malware on a PC or a Mac or some other device, but you can't put that on an IoT device. You can't really control what your kids are doing at all times. Heaven forbid they're clicking on links on porn sites or gaming sites that are compromised. If you don't have eyes on that network, that could lead to something really, really serious. And particularly for work from home employees that are managing, really important information, like maybe your CFO, your CEO, researchers, et cetera, who are dealing with information that just cannot be stolen or cannot be ransomed, and you want to protect that at all costs.